After using other power stations for years, I finally made a switch over to the Jackery 1000 V2. Stick around, I'll tell you why this is my new favorite power station for camping. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I have with me today the Jackery 1000 V2. This power station has been hugely popular in the camping community, and it's been upgraded to include bigger power outputs, quiet operations, and an upgraded chemistry battery. With so many power stations out there today in the market, what makes this power station stand out from the rest? Let's take a closer look at this power station to see if it's worth all the hype. Before we get started, I want to mention that Jackery sent me this power station to try out, but all opinions are of my own. And the fact is, I've been eyeing the Jackery 1000 for a few years now, and the upgraded spec is worth the switch over from other power stations that I've been using for years. A 1000 watt-hour power station is my most commonly used power station when I go camping. The Jackery 1000 is perfect for my needs because it has 1070 watt-hour of lithium phosphate, which means that it has over 4,000 cycles before it drops down to a 70% capacity. This power station has enough capacity for all your camping needs, whether you're overlanding, car camping, or dry camping with your RV. It provides enough power for a weekend camping trip, which is 2 nights and 3 days, but it also is an essential home backup in case if you have a blackout at home, you can use this power station to have a peace of mind. You can run everything from small electronic devices such as phones, lights, laptops, routers, to high power appliances such as a microwave, space heater, and an espresso machine. So if you're not sure about which power station capacity to choose, I totally recommend a 1000 watt-hour power station as your first power station. Anyways, the Jackery 1000 has a classic boxy form factor. This Jackery power station doesn't pretend to be what it's not. I like that it's designed for camping with its tough exterior that can take all the bumps and bruises of camping activities. I love the handle of the Jackery 1000. It makes it easy to carry with one hand because it has a soft rubber lining that provides grip and comfort when I'm carrying it to and from my campsite. Did I mention that it's also lightweight? At only 23.8 pounds, this is the lightest 1000 watt-hour power station on the market today. In addition to the lightweight, the handle folds flat into the power station, leaving nothing protruding. I actually love the shape of the Jackery 1000 because it fits modularly with all my camping boxes. An example of this is the Snow Peak 1-unit gear bag that sits perfectly on top of the Jackery. Every inch counts when I'm packing for a camping trip. Not only is the Jackery 1000 easy to bring to camp, there's also a light right here that's super helpful when you're camping. I don't have to grab another light as the light on the Jackery 1000 serves as a small area light. I love this subtle design by Jackery because it really shows that they've thought about this power station for campers like me. Now let's move on to the outputs of the Jackery 1000. It has a 12-volt DC output, 1 USB-A, 2 USB-C, and 3 AC outputs. I personally think that the outputs on the Jackery is very minimal compared to other power stations, but I gotta be honest, I've never actually used more than 3 AC outputs all at once. Even with 3 AC outputs, it would be nice if these outputs are a little more spaced out or rotated in different directions to fit more plugins. I definitely think that there should be one more USB-A port because I have a lot of USB powered devices that needs charging. But with that being said, the Jackery 1000 does an excellent job of running numerous devices all at once. I'm able to charge my phone, my camping lights, my camera battery, and charge the battery for my computer and electric bike all at once. Its increased power output to 1500 watts makes a huge difference in what I'm able to do with this power station. Let's dive deeper to see what it means to have 1500 watts power output. I've used a lot of other brands' 1000 watt-hour power station, and the power output ranges from 1200 watts to 1800 watts. 1200 watts power output is too little, so it defeats the purpose of bringing a 1000 watt-hour power station, and 1800 watts power output is a little bit too much for what I need. So I feel like the Jackery 1000 has the medium power output of 1500 watts, and it's perfect for what my needs are. The Jackery 1000's 1500 watts power output covers most of the mid-level electronic devices that people have at camp and also at home. Devices such as an electric kettle, a hair dryer, space heater, microwave, and my all-time favorite, an espresso machine. I always put all my power station to a test to see if they can pull a nice shot on my espresso machine. The reason why I do this is that the power demand of an espresso machine is like a roller coaster where it pulsates and goes up and down in power demands. So we'll see if this power station can pull a nice, good espresso shot. I ground my coffee beans with the grinder and it took about 400 watts for less than 20 seconds. Then I pull a couple of espresso shots. The Jackery 1000 ran beautifully, handling the machine's sudden rise to peak power at 1500 watts. It pulsates between 500 and 1500 watts throughout the espresso shot process, and the Jackery had no issues with it at all. I also tried steaming milk with the espresso machine, and the power pulsation was a lot more. It pulsates high and low power, and the Jackery 1000 handled it quietly without turning on its fan due to the stress. The next test that I want to run was to see if the Jackery 1000 can run the AC in my Airstream Basecamp. The power requirement for my AC in the Basecamp is 2000 watts. Now this power requirement is more than what the Jackery can handle, but the Jackery has a peak power of 3000 watts. What this means is that it can handle a very short burst of high power to allow electronic devices to start up. In this case, my AC doesn't have a soft start, so it's gonna need more than 2000 watts of burst in order to be able to run. Let's hook up the AC to the Jackery 1000 to see if it can run. Unfortunately, it can't run the Basecamp's AC. The peak power to start up the AC was too high for the Jackery's inverter. The good news is that the overload protection works flawlessly and turns off the inverter on its own. There you have it, folks. The Jackery can do so much in such a small package. It can run my espresso machine, but it can't run my Airstream Basecamp AC. Let's move on and talk about the input of the Jackery 1000 and different ways to charge this power station. The Jackery 1000 could be charged via AC input, which should go from 0 to 100 in 1.6 hours. In my charging test, I was able to charge from 0 to 100% in 1.5 hours. It started off strong with 1000 watt hour input and slowed down around 60% to about 700 to 800 watt hour. Finally, it topped off to 100% with a charge rate of about 500 watt hour. It can also charge via 12 volt DC input, but keep in mind that the cord for 12 volt DC input charging is not included. I personally don't charge my power station via DC input that often, except for on really long road trips, which is great to have because you can have it in the car for 8 to 10 hours worth of driving and it will be fully charged by the time you reach your destination. And last but not least, this power station could be charged via solar. And Jackery SolarSaga 200 is a perfect complement to this power station. I'll go in depth into the solar panel in a future video, but for now, here's what I like about the SolarSaga 200. It has solid handles that makes it easy to carry around. I actually like that it doesn't have a carrying case for quick and easy setup. The stand pops out in the back and I'm good to go. This is opposite from other solar panels that I've used in the past, which I have to take out the case and then use it as a stand for my solar panels. It's a bright and sunny day now and my average solar input is 190 watts. That's a 95% efficiency. This is way higher than other solar panels that I've tried. Getting a 95% efficiency is unheard of. While the Jackery 1000 is running, I can check the status of the power station via the Jackery App. The Jackery App is pretty straightforward and it presents all the information and functions in minimalistic fashion. I can check the current power consumption of my Jackery power station, but more importantly, I can access settings not available anywhere else. The most important setting that I frequently adjust is the auto time off. There are times when I don't want the power station to shut off, such as running a motor to vent my hot stove in the winter. Connecting the power station to the app via Bluetooth is super helpful at camp as I can sit by the fire and still have an eye on my power station without having to get up. I don't use the Wi-Fi function at camp, but it's nice to have at home because I can keep an eye on my refrigerators that are plugged into this power station while I'm not at home. I check the status of my power station from time to time when I'm away from home to make sure that my refrigerator is running smoothly and the power station is providing enough power for it. Last but not least, I want to talk about idle power drain. Most people aren't aware of this issue, but it is a significant issue that affects all power stations. I wanted to find out the power consumption of the Jackery 1000 when it's idling on its own, and when the AC is turned on and idling, and then when the DC is turned on and idling. So the method of going about this is that I charge the power station to 100%, let it sit for roughly about 24 hours and measure the percent decrease, and then I do all the math to figure out how much watts is being consumed. So the results are, when the Jackery 1000 is idle on its own, it consumed about 5% of the battery in about 23.5 hours. That's a little more than 2 watt-hour on idle. Then I use the same method to measure how much the AC inverter consumed on idle. It consumed 32% in 24.5 hours on idle. That's about 14 watt-hour for AC power on idle. Lastly, I left DC power on for 25 hours and it consumed 6% of the battery. That's 2.5 watt-hour for DC power on idle. As you can see from the result, the Jackery has a power consumption of 14 watt-hour on idle compared to my other power station that has a power consumption of 17 watt-hour. This is important to me because I charge my camera battery and everything else overnight while I'm sleeping, and I'm not gonna wake up in the middle of the night just to check on it. So lower AC power consumption means that I can leave it on and I won't lose that much power. That means that I have more of its capacity for me to use for a longer extended amount of time. But perhaps the most important factor in helping you make a decision on which power station to get is its price point. The Jackery 1000 is currently on sale for $450. That's 42 cents per watt-hour. This is a very competitive price comparing to the Ecoflow Delta at $630. Make sure you guys check out my links and discount code in the video description so you can save some money on Jackery products. Overall, I like the Jackery 1000 for camping because it's the lightest 1000 watt-hour power station. It's built to last and can take bumps and bruises from camping activities. It's able to power everything that I want to bring to camp, from my small electronic devices to high-demand appliances like my espresso machine. It also has a low idle drain, which allows me to use the power station for a longer period of time. The Jackery 1000 also serves as an essential home backup when I'm not camping. It gives me a peace of mind to know that all my essential appliances will continue to run in case there's a blackout. Last but not least, I wish that the Jackery 1000 has more outputs just in case if I need to plug in more devices than usual. In addition, I wish that the Jackery 1000 can charge from 0 to 100% faster. This would be helpful in situations where I'm in a rush to get my power station charged to go somewhere. And one very last thing about this power station is that it's not expandable. Now, I actually don't mind this too much because I just get a new power station to upgrade the capacity, but most people want to keep the same power station and add on to its current capacity. What do you think about the newly upgraded Jackery 1000 V2? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and if you found this video helpful, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.